That's JTAFLA.com. It's 85 degrees at 2 o'clock time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
1330 Blanding Boulevard. That is all you need to know, because that is where we are hanging out today. Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant in Orange Park. Fully stocked bar, TVs everywhere, and this place is hopping on a Friday, y'all.
Oh, yeah. I love this place. We were here. We came last year. Food's delicious. There are a ton of TVs, so plenty of places when it is game day to come out here. But, yeah, fantastic. Tommy, is this your first time
First
out here?
time here, man. You know what's great about these places, too? You pull up into the parking lot and you see the sign. You don't realize how vast it is in here, how
it's
big
big.
it is in
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and how much stuff they have, how many TVs. It's an awesome place. And the food just arrived.
Yes, it
And
did.
I hear the wings are literally off the
Spectacular.
chain. So
I've also heard they have the coldest beer in town. I'm just thinking
they do.
that we need someone to try it out
Yeah, I
so
already
that we
did.
can confirm.
Yeah, it's good. It's really cold.
All right,
Very
coming
cold.
up, we will talk with Eric Armstead, Jaguars defensive tackle at 3 o'clock, and Seth Payne, former Jaguar and Texan, at 3:30. But let's kick things off with what I think is excellent news out of the Jaguars locker room. Ryan O'Halloran, Mike Duraco, and others posted this just a little bit ago, that Brian Thomas Jr., when asked if he will play on Sunday, said he is good. And then he was, of course, asked about the matchup against Derek Stingley, and he said he's been going against him for a while. Of course, they went at each other back in practice at LSU, and so they certainly know each other very well. And so I think it's fantastic news, especially because we saw in the injury report that Brian Thomas Jr. was a full participant Wednesday. Then he was limited yesterday with that wrist injury. So he said it himself. He's going to go. So let's go.
Yeah. Unless that wrist is broken, just take that thing up. Let's go. He should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing him out there, man. I mean, look, we're going to know right away. They may not go to him right away in the pass game, but him blocking downfield, him seeing his attitude, and then eventually they're going to go to him. I'll tell you, they're going to snake him a little bit, play action pass, deep to Brian Thomas. We're going to see number 7 in the end zone this Sunday.
If that happens, Taylor, the crowd that I think is going to be pretty good to begin with. A, it's the Texans. B, it's a division rival with that and everything that happened last year with Azeez Al-Shaair. The fact that you did start 1-1, the fans are excited to begin with. And then, oh, by the way, the Prowler throwbacks and all the fun things that come with that. You add all that in, and then with I feel like this fan base has been a little divisive this week. And I want to remind all of them that you are the enemy is the Texans. The enemy is not the people saying that it's Trevor's fault, not saying it's Brian Thomas Jr.'s fault, or the people in between. The enemy are the Texans.
Yes.
Good call.
Yeah, and I think that there are a lot of storylines surrounding everything else, but it is, I think, a conversation where you also just want to continue to see the offense and the play calling and things like that go well. And I know there's been some issues, but I still think this is the best defense that you've faced this year. So if you can replicate or do and score the way that you've been able to the first 2 weeks against this, who has multiple pass rushers that can get to him, the secondary that always for a couple years now has been talked about as one of the best secondaries or better secondaries. Those are things too. So we've had all of these other conversations, and we really want you. Obviously, all of us want Brian Thomas Jr. to just go absolutely crazy this weekend. But that side note to that is just I want to see the offense look like we've seen the first couple weeks, not the mistakes and not the drops,
no penalties,
not the illegal shifts and all of that stuff, but the good pieces we've seen against a good defense and a rivalry. That's exactly what you want to see this week.
Well, a rivalry that's kicked your ass 7 times in a row at home. I mean, that's all you need to know.
The Jaguars haven't won in Duval since 2017.
That is unbelievable. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. It is what it is.
2 years ago, the Jaguars got completely worked.
Yeah,
they lost by 20 points at home. It was certainly closer last year, but this is a team that's had your number, and you hate them, or at least you should.
That's all you need to know come Sunday. And you know what? Look, as far as Liam Coen's concerned, he said he's like, that's we're not focused on that. We're focused on moving forward, a new era, a new regime. Well, here's your chance to put a little stamp on your early coaching career and the Jags. Like, win this game. I don't care how you win the game. Just win the game.
Yeah, win by 1 point.
You're right in stride. We'll see what happens with the Colts in Tennessee, but you're right back in it at 2-1. And guess what? We all forget about the loss that we just had last Sunday that we let slip away.
Yeah.
And
that's
be
what,
more physical, by the way, too.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about, the physicality of this team and what you want to see. And I think there's been moments and there's been glimpses where you're like, it's right there. Like, all of it that you want to see is there, and it's early. It's 2 weeks, and I know people start to hit the panic button a little early. I think this
the Dolphins
game,
are, that's for sure.
big time.
It's been 3 games for them. But
yeah, I was just reading a stat to Tommy on break where it said the players on injured reserve or PUP right now, and Miami has 17, so that's not fun to deal with.
That's because they're jumping off the ship and waving the white flag at this point in time. If you're slightly hurt, you don't want to play for that team
Definitely
right now. Yeah, it's a mess. And that's where this team in the past, everyone uses that phrase, same old Jags, right? The moment that the Jaguars lost to the Bengals in the fashion that it happened, that's what a lot of fans, especially negative fans, wanted to say, well, it's the same old Jags. It's the DNA of this team. You beat the Texans on Sunday, and I think that, flips on its head.
You only win when you win. I mean, really, and that's just the nature of the beast. Like, you got to win, and then people are happy. And when you lose, they're not, and they find ways to, you know, point out whatever the narrative. This week it was Brian Thomas Jr. Let's go after him, and he's terrible, and he's weak,
Trevor
and
Lawrence.
he's timid. And then the other side's like, no, it's true, and it's just too much. But listen, at the end of the day, they're going to come together on Sunday. They know that they let one slip away up there in Cincinnati. They're probably biting themselves a little bit, not anymore because the week's over, but they're looking forward to getting back out there and proving that they are a team that can win these games. And by the way, the fans that say same old Jags, in their defense, the defense blew it like they did all last year. You
I
had
don't
a
blame
lead.
them.
92 yards, Jake Browning. You know what I mean? Like, Joe's not even out there. And we're all sitting there going,
what is happening?
What is happening? We all believe they're better. We believe they're better. But,
but they have a chance to prove it.
They got to prove it.
Yeah, I heard last night on the Jaguars HQ, James Gladstone and Lageman were having a conversation. And Lageman said one of the things he took away after this loss and what he's seen this week was that there was no finger pointing. It was accountability on both sides. Like, defense was like, this was on us. Offense said this was on us. It was on everybody. There's you could point to multiple things the offense did that led to that loss and multiple things the defense did that led to that loss. But there wasn't that, which we've had here previously, where it's your fault, and whether that's coaches saying it, players kind of feeling like that's the way that they're leaning. And James Gladstone and Lageman both mentioned that. Like, it's something that you feel is different. There was no finger pointing. It was everybody taking accountability. And that accountability word is something we've talked so much about this offseason that hasn't been here before, that James Gladstone and Liam Coen want to instill into this team.
And they also changed, which was interesting, that instead of having pads on Wednesday and then only uppers on Thursday and then helmets only on Friday, they switched it up and they did pads on Thursday. And Liam talked about it today and basically said, the players are going through car crashes every weekend, and so they're still very sore and hurting on Wednesdays, and so I wanted to push the pads to Thursday and see if that could change how they end up practicing. And so it will be interesting to kind of, not that we're going to be able to tell if the Jags win or lose, that one change is a direct correlation, but it is interesting that at least he had thought about it in the offseason and they are switching things up a little bit.
Listen, I think their physicality's been good. I think the O-line's been good, the D-line's been good. Overall, it's not like I felt like either team came out and out physical us the entire game. Maybe at moments you're like, this is happening. But overall, I think they've matched. But here's the deal. Houston's going to be physical. And you know what D'Amico Ryan's just telling him, and I would too. Let's go in there and be the more physical team from the get-go. Offense, defense. And if I'm Liam, I'm saying the same thing. Guys, we got to hit them first. We got to strike first.
We got
to get to them first and get them rattled before they get to us. So it's going to be that kind of game, and it should be. There's a rival. There's last year. I mean, look, I know I was being somewhat facetious on Jaguars today, but I'm like, send somebody after Shahir. Go after him. Listen, maybe not to get in a fight and that kind of stuff, but if he's standing around a
get
pile,
in his head a little bit,
give him an ear hole. Let's see what he's got. It's Strange or LaQuint Allen Jr. Look, you're not going to go up to him and start punching him in the
smack him in the helmet.
But you know what? You should get after him a little bit extra, and because he took your. It's like your best friend getting beat up. What are you going to do? You're going to go defend your best friend or your little brother. That quarterback's like the little brother to the old lineman. And when he gets beat up, what do you want to do? I'm going to go beat up the guy that beat up. Trust me, I got beat up as a kid. My dad sent my 2 older brothers down to the playground to handle the kid because he was older. And that's what happens.
That little jerk.
It was great.
Yeah, I mean, don't throw punches. I guess don't be stupid.
No,
we don't want ejections.
But some extra physicality. I think he is deserving
sure,
of it.
Run your mouth.
I know, by the way, he's not
C.J. Gardner-Johnson's going to be running his mouth the whole time.
Azeez Al-Shaair did come out of that game we saw on Monday night against the Bucks, which, by the way, short week for the Texans.
Yeah.
But he entered back into the game and played, and he's not on the injury report whatsoever. So it's not like, he has an ankle or a shoulder or something like that, and you can go after those things.
He's a good player. I mean, for the record, he's a really, really
he's a good player.
linebacker.
There's just a group of people that think he's a dirty player because he has been suspended multiple times for things that he's been flagged for. And then there's people that say that's the way football used to be, and it's a violent game.
Well, and that's what I do think on the reverse side. The Texans are coming in here saying, number one, we beat them there a lot at home. Number two, we're coming off 2 games where we have not played football the way we want to play football. They're also saying, last time we were here, they got our players suspended for 3 games on a hit that the quarterback slid late. That's their mindset right now coming in
and
Houston.
they're 0-2, to your point.
Yes.
This is a quote-unquote desperate team. It also feels like the Jaguars are a desperate team.
Yeah.
I think they kind of know their backs are against the wall a little bit because of all of these different storylines. And by the way, Christian Kirk has been practicing in a limited fashion, and he is expected to play on Sunday. So
Knock
a familiar face.
I'm sorry.
A familiar
Let
face
him come
does
over just
return
one
to
time and have
Everbank
Murray
Stadium.
clean his clock.
I do hope Ezra Cleveland is able to play. Obviously, he has not practiced this week. And Liam Coen talked about it on Wednesday, said they're going to have to be a little careful with him because of that ankle injury. Certainly, you'd like to see him play. And if he doesn't, then I'm assuming it's Chuma Adoga.
You would think so.
Right, and that they'd keep Cole Van Lannon at swing tackle. I don't think Cole Van Lannon would play left guard.
He hasn't played guard yet since he's been here.
Right,
so
but certainly we'll see. We've seen other teams have to mix up their players on the O-line, including the Texans, so we'll see what that looks like.
I think he can play guard for the record, Cole. I do.
Sure.
But, they just haven't put him in there. So
so we'll hopefully, though, like I said, Ezra plays. All right, so we are live here at Big Dog's Family Sports. That's what I was trying to say. Family Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. Fully stocked bar, 20-plus big screen TVs, pool tables, classic jukebox. I feel like we're going to have to get our change together. And certainly tons of wings that we're about to enjoy. So come and hang out with us here today from 2 to 4. Tom's Takeaways are on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL. Setting the field on fire with electrifying plays.
What a play! What a play!
But in the end, there's always a play that stood out.
Did you have to go Sports Center on me, though?
Listen for the performance painting high performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Helmets and Heels.
Crown Royal Friday.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter, the area's most trusted service company. We're licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, and full air conditioning service, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
The Friday night lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farrah and Farrah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
Our son Eric's a Division I collegiate baseball pitcher who is having shoulder pain. We took him to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and are confident that he's now on the road to recovery. This is Beth Anderson, and we love the care Eric receives at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Sports fans, this is David Garrard here. And if you're suffering from orthopedic soreness, make an appointment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where everyone is treated like a pro.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville, archery season is here, and nobody does archery like Green Acres Sporting Goods, home of the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida. Come test shoot the newest bows from Matthews, Hoyt, Raven, and all the top brands. And starting this month, take advantage of Florida's sales tax holiday on all Second Amendment related items, running now through the end of the year. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl. I'm Lauren Brooks with you live at Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. And there are some definite Jaguars fans up in here. RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters making it all happen. We will chat Jaguars football a ton, of course, today. Little college football when we do our picks, but mainly going to chat about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here are now Tom's takeaways.
Now,
Okay, it's go time.
Tommy's takeaways. Jacked up by J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We are here for you. Veteran owned and operated.
You know, thinking about my takeaway on this Friday as we head into the Sunday against the Texans, the much-hated Texans, I go back to an old movie in 1983 called The Outsiders. And they go to visit Dallas Winston, who's in the hospital, and they know Johnny's already been in the fire, and he's, holding on to his life. And Dallas says, "Hey, man, you still got that knife?" And he gives him the knife, and he's like, "We gotta win that fight tonight. We gotta get even with them socials. Let's do it for Johnny, man. Let's do it for Johnny." That's the message to the Jaguars, to do it for Trevor, because of Shahir's illegal and dirty hit last year. Yeah, we do got to get revenge. The greatest revenge is to win. Mm-hmm. But even greater than that is to win and maybe give him a little extra shellacking on certain plays. So that is my takeaway today, brought to you by our good friends at J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Love it. Stay gold, Pony.
Stay
gold, Pony Boy.
That's right.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies and books, by the way.
Great book.
Oh, yeah.
Great book.
But yeah, I think that there's multiple things, and we were talking about it a little bit on that last segment, of all of the storylines that are surrounding this game. And I think at the end of the day, too, though, the ultimate goal is to feel like the regime, this organization's changing. And so I do feel like it's been a while. We just talked about it, since you beat the Texans at home. And so being able to do that and being able to come back after what the ending to last week looked like, and all of the back and forth of this week with BTJ and Trevor and what all of the issues are, if you can rebound from that and beat a team whose defense is really good that you haven't been able to beat, that right there, I think, will make people feel like, okay, things are changing. It's not the same old Jags. It's not the same thing that's going to happen over and over again. James Gladstone and Liam Coen are different, and I think that's what we need here.
Tom, you asked a question before the show. If you were starting a franchise, would you take C.J. Stroud or Trevor Lawrence? And I think it's a layered answer when you look at it, because both have only had one really good season in the NFL.
Right.
Now, Trevor's had more time to have more good seasons than obviously C.J. since he's entering year 3. But I think the game on Sunday, to me, is not about which quarterback plays the best. Like, I do think both quarterbacks have a lot of pressure to play well. Don't get me wrong, for all the reasons we've talked about. But I do think that this game is going to come down to who has the better time of possession, who controls the clock. So if the Jaguars can run the football, and who ends up with more takeaways. That to me, and obviously the Jaguars have done well in both those categories.
Yeah.
But I think even if both quarterbacks, even if C.J. Stroud throws for 50 more yards than Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence takes care of the football, or even 100 yards more, but if they're able to run the football and control the clock, I do think that the Jaguars can come out with a close victory.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the one-on-one that we, normally
those are the sexy matchups, right?
It
Quarterback v. quarterback.
Yeah, and there's some bragging rights in that, for the quarterbacks to go through that. But listen, they got to run the ball. They got to stop the run. They got to win the turnover battle. And you know what else they got to do? They got to be really good on third down because Houston's offense is like 22% on third down. They're absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
I want to see attack. One thing, look, Stroud is one thing I like about him, he's very cerebral in my book. I think he sees the field really well. But like any young QB, he's going to get rattled if you get after him. He's shown it. You saw it last year. I mean, look, that's the kryptonite to most quarterbacks.
Sure.
Get in their face, smack them around.
Patrick Mahomes.
You saw him in the Super Bowl. Collapse that pocket where they have nowhere to go. Corral them in from the outside so they can't escape. Those kind of things. So they're going to have to really be good on third down, I think, defensively and offensively. And look, Trevor doesn't have to do anything special, nor does Brian Thomas Jr. Just go out and play the game plan. I will tell you what this will show if they win on Sunday. It'll show true grit, not just for the team, but for the coach as well. Because he knows he let one go last week. He knows they should have won that game. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, doesn't matter. I understand that.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you're going to look at that Cincinnati game and go, gosh darn it, we should have won that game. We should be 2-0. But you're not. So your back's against the wall in that regard. Well, guess what? They're 0-2, and they're dying for a win. And by the way, they played two tough teams and played them pretty close.
Yeah, the Rams and the Bucs.
The Rams and the Bucs. It wasn't
and this
like any
offense
kind of
is obviously very close to both of those offenses.
Absolutely.
And when I say run the ball too, Taylor, like if a run play is called, run the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe don't audible out and go to a pass. Like run the ball, especially if you are getting it at a good clip.
And I don't think this week you can play a flawed football game like you did last week and win. I don't think so. I think that the Texans are, that to your point, Tommy, they've played two really good teams. The Jaguars really haven't been fully tested. I don't think the Bengals are a very good team. I think the Bengals have four players that we talk about all the time, and one of them left the game and we're not playing for the majority of it. And you had too many drops, too many interceptions, too many illegal shifts. The defense kind of played soft at the end. Those things, you're not going to win against the Texans if those things happen, because I do think that extra level of the familiarity between these two teams and just them having in their mind, like we've been able to beat this team time and time again, even when they weren't playing their best football last year either. C.J. Stroud was struggling. Their line sucked, and they were still able to beat the Jags in Jacksonville. So I think it has to look a lot cleaner than it did last week to be able to beat the Texans, but I don't think that means Trevor has to be perfect. I think you lean on the things that have been working, and that is running the ball. I don't think you have to force Trevor to throw the ball 42 times to be able to win this game. I think you want that a little bit more of a balance, especially down the stretch.
Well, and you're at home, so the illegal shift part, we know that was on the road, the cadence issues with things like that. Yeah.
Well, it's could be layered. You know what I mean? Like, is the call getting in late? Are they getting to their spot? Are they not hustling to their spots enough? Sometimes you got to run to your spot.
Yeah.
And then
you ran here to Big Dogs from 10 XL headquarters.
Yeah, almost ran for my car. But you have to do that. Look, I think it's going to really come down to it's going to be. I got a score in 27 points. You're probably like, how are they going to do that? Well, I do think we're going to be able to run the ball. And off run, you can play action the heck out of them, and I think we're going to take advantage of that. They're good in the secondary. Stingley's one of the best, there's no doubt. Hopefully Strange can get involved. I think Parker Washington deserves some reps involved, throwing him the ball, not shying away from Brian Thomas, and, of course, not Travis Hunter. I will say this on the defensive side. I've been saying it for a couple of days. I want to see Travis Hunter as a press corner. I want to see him play man. I think he can do it. I think he's built. I didn't think he was built for it. I'll be honest with you. I never really watched him, to be honest. Colorado. But I thought he was going to be more of a read and react zone type guy. That's really hard to do in the NFL, but he's shown that he can get up on that line. He can battle. He can press. He can run with them down the line of scrimmage. If I'm Liam Coen or Campanile, I'm putting him into that game plan, and maybe I am picking a guy out like Nico Collins. Say, all right, you know what? Let's just for a little bit. Let's just see how you do for a little bit. We can always adapt if we have to, but I think he can be pretty sticky in coverage. And quite frankly, I'd love to see that, because that means if I'm in man, I can be more aggressive. If I got a guy that can lock that guy down or at least control him for a bit, I can be more aggressive, and we need that kind of aggressive. If you can't get there with a 4, you got to bring extra.
Yeah, 27 points is high, but I think you could almost put a defensive score in there.
Maybe.
Like, this team has gotten so close. Some of it has to do with the refs last week in Cincinnati, but they've gotten so close also the first week with that penalty on Jordan Lewis. Like, Dewey had a pick 6.
Yeah,
I think the Jaguars were really close had it not been overturned as far as the fumble, or the call was originally ruled a fumble or not a fumble, and they kept it. But they were close to scoring a defensive touchdown last week, too. So in that 27 points, it doesn't all have to come from the offense.
Yeah. No, there'll be some field goals, too, in there, obviously. And they give up 17, so just be 10 more. They're only scoring 14. They're last in the league. Houston is. Agree. You could say, well, the Rams are good, Tampa's good,
Sure.
we'll see, that kind of thing. But they're not scoring points. So that's why I left them at 14.
Yeah.
I think our defense can keep them to that 14 or under. And then I just feel like we're gonna get better at offense. I think the timing's gonna be better. I think the connections are gonna be better, and I think the run game's gonna work. Now, if they shut down our run, this could be a long day for both teams. You know what I mean? Then it could be a real defensive battle, and you just don't know how that's going to work out in the end.
Do you think Trevor Lawrence, Taylor, has heard the hospital ball talk that's permeated through social all week long, and certainly on TV as well? We saw Dana Orlovsky talk about it. Like, do you think that Trevor Lawrence has heard that he throws a hospital ball this week?
I don't know how much Trevor is. He doesn't feel like one of the players that's looking for stuff about himself. There's players that I know. Jarian is on Twitter searching his name, trying to find motivation or fuel, however you want to word it. He's that type of personality. I don't know if Trevor is. Trevor seems more like the guy that just is like, go to work, make sure
Keep
you're
his head
doing
down,
that type of thing. He feels more of that. Not saying that doesn't mean that other people around him aren't having conversations like, hey, everybody keeps saying, she's like, what's a hospital ball that you keep throwing?
I was in the hospital having our baby, and you caught the baby.
That's one of those terms. It catches fire next thing you know.
Oh, it's huge right now.
It's been driving me crazy because I just don't understand how you watch football and don't see every quarterback throw a quote-unquote hospital ball. If you're throwing it into traffic, which those tight window throws are always into traffic, then those are hospital balls. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is important for Trevor Lawrence to have, like you said, the timing, but also be able to trust his receivers. It's certainly a two-way street, and I feel like he's got guys that are super talented and have that speed. And so I am fascinated to see, with Travis Hunter, does he play more on offense or defense this week, or is it about even like it was last week? And with the running back, the carries, I don't know, like, is how many more carries is Bashal Tutin going to get this week versus last week? The first week, obviously, he only had a few. Tank was still here. Tank was traded. He ended up certainly with what do you have, like close to 10 last week? And then, how does that balance, look moving forward?
It is funny because I feel like we haven't talked about how much is Travis Hunter playing on each side of the ball as much this week as we have.
We haven't, because it's been dominated by Brian Thomas Jr. has a wrist injury we didn't know about, and then the connection between, or lack of connection between he and Trevor, and what's
last week
wrong.
they were like, how many snaps is he playing on
so
each
naturally,
side
I
of
think
the
they
ball?
still focus on Travis Hunter. It's just more locally. It's just been it's been way more tuned into what's wrong with these two. Like, these are supposed to be two of, certainly Brian Thomas is supposed to be the best player on the team.
Listen, the connection to Travis has only been good on those underneath. They've missed a few times, Steve. So they gotta, hopefully they can hit and get that timing down, and then get both of them. Next thing you know, we got a dual threat down the field.
Absolutely. I think we talked about it week 1 and week 2, but especially last week, get the lead, especially when we thought Joe Burrow was going to be playing. Get the lead. If you can get the lead and play from ahead, it changes a little bit of how you can play defensively, too, like you said, with Campanelli's defense. All right, Lawrence Lane is on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, and we are live here in Orange Park, Big Dogs Family Sports Restaurant. They have tons of fun stuff going on all the time, whether it's happy hour, Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. They've got trivia. They've got all sorts of karaoke. Happy hour from 4 to 7 is 2-for-1 draft beer, pitchers included. I think Tom's interested in that. $18 domestic bottle buckets, $21 import bottle buckets, and a whole lot more. The wings, how are the wings?
Delicious. Honestly.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I got the rub, and they are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I got the hot wings, and they are fantastic because it's like a buffalo, but also a peppery. So it's almost like a dry rub and a buffalo sauce, which is absolutely fantastic.
Excellent. Well, certainly, as we look around this restaurant, it looks like everyone is having a great time, and the TVs are plentiful. It is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, Duval, here's your chance to be face-to-face with the Jags as they take the field on game day. Jump in the shadows and experience the Jaguars like never before. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows for your chance to be part of the action. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 and older. Entry periods for the sweepstakes are from 8/4/25 to 12/21/25. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA member FDIC.
Hey, when it comes to glass, you don't want average, you want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged and broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to those Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. That's right. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror, and it's Duval.
Crown Royal Friday
on Helmets and Heels.
Hey Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving? Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, ProMasters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
Hi, Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Any good lineup needs power. When we needed power at the Bregan Baseball Complex and all the fields we have at Fort Family Park, we trusted Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. Call my friend Zach today at 904-320-5960. You can also find them on Facebook and at rickettselectric.com. Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 904-320-5960.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for the Jaguars and proud member of Jacksonville's newest orthopedic dream team. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we brought together 10 board-certified, fellowship-trained surgeons, each one a specialist in their field, all working together to deliver smarter, faster care with better results. From sports injuries to joint replacements, we've got the right player for every position. Visit osjax.com and meet your team. That's osjax.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
If you've been in a big truck accident, you need a lawyer that specializes in big trucks. A lawyer who knows all the federal traffic rules that can affect your case.
And who can navigate the complex web of laws dealing with the trucking company, the leasing company, the shipper, and all the other details that can complicate your case.
At Farah & Farah, we've seen it all, and we're ready to go the long haul to fight for you. Jacksonville.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball.
It's good to have Sublime on a Friday.
Oh, yeah. Papa Cap and Sancho.
I feel like that's always your go-to line.
I love that
when it
song.
comes to this song.
Yeah.
My favorite Sublime song is probably Bad Fish.
Okay.
Just in case you were wondering, which you definitely were not. All right, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lawrence Lane, driven by Mazda at the Avenues. This is luxury. This is Mazda at the Avenues.
All right, I promised you a little bit of college football, so yes, thanks to Mazda at the Avenues. I have the irony of all ironies. Coach Prime is not a fan of primetime games. In his season, or in his career so far as the head coach of Colorado, he's 14-14 overall. In games that start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern or later, his record is 5-9. In games that start prior to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 9-5.
Wow.
So literally, Coach Prime does not like primetime games. He literally said this week, night games, we get our butts kicked at night. We normally get our butts kicked every night game. And just for fun, the next two games, they begin at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. The next two, Colorado goes up against Wyoming and then BYU. And ESPN loves it because they get better ratings. Yeah. But it is pretty hilarious that he doesn't like primetime games.
I have said it before. I hate primetime games. Number one, it's too late. I'm tired. I'm trying to go to bed before 11 p.m. on a Sunday or Monday or Thursday. Also, I feel like the most frustrating thing to me with primetime games as a fan and as somebody who covers teams is the world of the NFL fans will watch the one game that your team plays on primetime and think they can judge everything off your team off of this one game. And it drives me absolutely insane because it's like you only watched one of the 17 games and you're pretending like you know everything about what's happening.
Like Jags at the Bills last year.
Yeah, that was
a stinker.
That was not
but
good.
Then again, the team overall wasn't very good.
Yeah, and the Bills were very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am not a fan of primetime games either. Give me the 1 o'clocks every single week on a Sunday so I can just enjoy my day. And then if you win, you're great and you can go celebrate after. If you lose, you can go drink and be sad after.
Yeah. I think the 4 o'clock game's the best game.
That's your favorite?
Yeah,
Okay.
like
As a player or as a watch?
As a player, no.
Okay.
No, as a watch, it's got to be earlier the better. Because 10:15 kickoff, this guy probably is not seeing that.
Yeah.
But as a player, no, like it was great to play in primetime because of the hype.
Yeah, the notoriety, for
but
sure.
you're waiting all day long. The waiting is the hardest part, says Tom Petty.
Yes,
and it is.
He's
on
right.
those
And the
primetime
Heartbreakers.
games.
Don't forget the band.
And the Heartbreakers. But it is. It's kind of weird. It's like you don't want to get too hyped up emotionally. You don't want to think about the game. You don't want to sleep too much. You don't want to walk around too much. You don't want to eat too much. It's just like when you wake up and go to a 12 o'clock game or a 1 o'clock game, it's pretty much you get up, eat breakfast,
There's a real game. Yeah.
Like, here we go. We're off and running. But then you got to wait. The 4 o'clock games, to me, just because you get enough sleep, and then it's not like you're waiting around forever. You got to wait around a little bit, and then you're good to go. And you can still hit the bars at the end of the game by the time you get home.
I do wonder if there are certain teams that are better at primetime games because they do play in them more often, right? Like the Chiefs and the Eagles, their body clocks may be more oriented to something like
I'll tell
that.
you, it doesn't help the Bears. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
They get like
also-
5-6 a year, and they still suck at all of them.
And that's also, that's a good team versus a bad team thing, too. And I'm not saying the Bears are trash by any means, but the better teams obviously have the more primetime games. And typically those teams, like I said, I think they know how to do it. But also they're a team that has probably been to the postseason year in and year out. And so then that also comes with more primetime games.
Yeah, and it's like teams that make it to the Super Bowl. The ones that have been there, they kind of know what to expect. They've been
the
through
routine
it.
and-
But the newbies, they're caught up in the hype and the party, and then they're trying to get ready for a game, and maybe their sleep's off. You know what? They don't know how to do it yet because they've never done it. So those teams do probably have an advantage, I would think. The clock, because it happens in everyday life, right? I woke up today again at 4:45. Lately, I don't know why. My wife's like going crazy. She's like, "Would you not get up that early?" I'm like, "I just get up and and then I'm up, and I'm fine, But it's your clock, and there's no alarm for the record. It just happens.
Yeah.
But it's kind of similar in that regard,
Yeah, my clock is not 4:45.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the reason a lot of teams complain about London because it messes
Throws
up the
everything off,
entire week of practice and your schedule, and then you're getting there and there's jet lag and all of these other things, and people are like, oh, well, they do it all the time and you're used to it, but the Jags are one of the ones that do it a lot, and they lost both of the London games last year pretty badly. So I think that you can so much do something in the hope that eventually you get in a routine. But also, there's so much newness on every team every year, so it's not like it's different, I guess, with like Philly, but even that, like if Philly goes back to the Super Bowl this year, there's still a lot of new secondary pieces. They pretty much cleaned house on their secondary, so there's still people that are going to be learning and getting those routines. But I think for the most part, you kind of talk about those Sunday games, the 1 and the 4s. I feel like have to be the most the easiest for players and fans.
Well, listen, you know that a new head coach, he's got consultants he goes to, right? So I'm sure he's talked to plenty of head coaches. And what do you do on Monday night? Or what do you do on primetime games?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do if we make it to the playoffs or we've clinched? Or do we rest? Do we play? You know, you'll go to those people, and that's how you'll kind of figure it out on your own as a new coach. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's you just got to make sure your team's ready. And there's a lot goes into it for prime time. I think 10:15 Eastern time.
First-year head coach. No, that is super late. Yeah, the Jags did win against the Patriots in London last year. But
I was thinking the Bills was their London game last year.
Yeah, but
that was
the
a couple
Bears.
years ago.
Yeah, the Bears absolutely destroyed. The Jaguars last year in London. Yeah, so they split. But either way, I think Liam Coen has a lot to manage, right? Like we've talked about the Travis Hunter thing and the scheduling that he's had to put into that, and then by the way, now you have this quarterback, wide receiver, your best wide receiver, not on the same page, regardless of whose fault it is, dealing with that. And then, you end up trading your GM trades, I'm sure he was on board, but your GM trades, Tank Bigsby, early in the season, and he was listed, like we talked about, as, one of the first string running backs on this depth chart. And so, like I said,
they're still trying to figure out Travis Hunter and
there's a lot going on, and that's before we even talk about London. Now we have, the travel last week. That's the first time that this team traveled with Liam Coen as the head coach.
Right. I was just going to say, a lot of times media fans, we are the ones that create the drama, and they don't always feel the drama inside. They may feel like this whole thing's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
That's like Trevor getting up there like, man, give him some space.
Yeah. Let the guy breathe a little bit.
It's not a big deal. It's week 2. Whether I'm sure he meant it, you know what I mean? But I don't think always the inside the locker room there's as much drama. There is, don't get me wrong, there's plenty that can happen in there. But
fan bases can stir it up.
Yeah,
for
they get
sure.
it going even more than
fan bases and media.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
it's part of the game.
We're obviously here to discuss everything, every aspect of this team, and certainly a big part of it was that storyline this week. All right, programming schedule reminder: Baloo comes up on 10:10 a.m. from 4 to 6 p.m. with the Frangie Show on 92.5 FM. Then college kickoff with RJ Saunders from 6 to 7. RJ, what's coming up on the show this evening?
We will be talking with Randy Cross, getting an inside look from around the college football landscape. Also, much thank you to Joe Cowart. We'll be talking everything Florida football. Just how hot is the seat of one Billy Napier? How much until the final day of his tenure as Florida Gator head coach? That and more we'll discuss at 6 o'clock.
Sounds good. And then Bulls kicks off at Oakleaf tonight on 10:10 a.m. Bishop Kenny played last night. Unfortunately, lost to Beachside 35-31. It was a shootout. But Bishop Kenny fell. And then Friday Night Lights with Hacker and Dylan Denmark comes up after the game goes final. But we love Friday Night Lights. Absolutely.
Come on, man.
There's nothing better. All right, we've got Taylor's Tangent on the other side, and we have a very special clip from one Jameis Winston that we want y'all to play. Lift your spirits on this Friday afternoon as we are live here at Big Dogs. You can find us 1330 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. Specialty pizzas, crispy fried pickles. Of course, we've talked about the wings, the ice-cold beer. They have something for everyone. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
This year's playoff road rides through the 904. Last season's AFC South champs take their first shot at Trevor and the playoff-hungry team in teal. It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival. Jaguars, Texans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Cowboy. Hayes Carline here. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise Free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter. And you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor climate-controlled showrooms. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
It's a Crown Royal Friday. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now with the big BOGO event. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 19th, 2000, Ken Griffey Jr. pinch hits his 400th home run, becoming the first Major League player to reach the mark as a pinch hitter.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. You're on-road, you're off-road, now you're on the water. Greg, tell everybody what Coach and Honda is offering in the form of boats.
We've got the Honda boat, which is a great runabout fisherman. We've got the Coach boats. They're fantastic for getting out with a family. Nice lay-down beds, all with that legendary Honda motor on.
Check them all out. They're waiting for you. You can see how you can be on the water with Honda or with Coach pontoon boats. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st, as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Tons of Jaguars fans here at Big Dogs in Orange Park, but shockingly, I don't see a ton of Gators fans anywhere. I'm so surprised.
Where'd they go?
I don't know where the Gators fans are. I have seen a ton of Florida State Miami fans all week and Georgia fans, but shockingly, like I said, not as many Florida fans. But you know what? That's okay. Some years are not your year. And this year, if you're a Florida fan, it feels like you're living out FSU's season from a year ago, where they only won 2 games. It kind of feels like Florida's heading in that direction now, but we'll see.
We'll see. It's still early. You know, I mean,
It's
you may
not
not
that early.
you may not- well, you're not going to
It's
go
not that
to
early.
the, you're not going to be a national contender, but you can salvage it.
Yeah, we shall
Bring some
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started rough last year in the beginning, too. And then there was some life
Did you finish
breathed in.
8-5 last year? 8-5?
8-5 or 9-5. Well, 9-4, I mean.
Yeah.
I think regular
One of
season
those.
8 and then won the bowl game. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Time now for Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So shout out to UCF Jaguar on Twitter for this one because he posted yesterday, and just to bring a little hope for this weekend and all of the chaos that was this week, Brian Thomas Jr. in 2 games last season wearing the Prowler uniforms. 15 receptions, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was against the Colts in Week 5 and then the Jets later in the season. So maybe we need those Prowler uniforms to just bring out the life of Brian Thomas Jr., and then it's all open and we're good from there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're magical. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, they
a lot
are.
of victories back in those days wearing those Prowler jerseys, so hopefully that can help propel. It'll be interesting. I mean, look, last week against Cincinnati, first 2 plays, slant to Brian Thomas Jr., dig to Brian Thomas Jr. Will they do that again this week? You know, you think not because the Texans struggle against the run, but you got to keep them guessing too. And maybe you do. Maybe say, all right, BT, let's get you right involved right away and get you comfortable and everybody happy, and we'll get the momentum going, and hopefully that can carry us through.
It does feel like week 1 he wasn't featured enough, Brian Thomas Jr., and so then there was an correction last week. You know, like learning to drive, they tell you like not to overcorrect, right? My dad always told me that. Like if you mess up, you know, still don't overcorrect because you don't want to end up like jerking the wheel and flipping. But it does feel like they did that last week. There was an overcorrection, and so now just like let it work itself out. And he's still your best receiver, but if the connection's not there right now, then feature some other guys. Whether it's De'Ami Brown and De'Ami, obviously you got to catch everything that comes your way. Parker, like we said. Brenton Strange, Travis Hunter, like it'll all be okay. It doesn't have to be always.
And he was coming from the slot, so let Parker take the slot and move him back outside. He's better off outside. So
for sure.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that any team, when you look around the league, the best receivers even have those days. We talked about it week 1 when it was like A.J. Brown, who didn't feel like he was playing week 1. And then CeeDee Lamb, who's dropping tons of passes in that week 1 game. Even the best wide receivers in the league have those moments, but you do have to get over that. You do want to see this connection between Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. get better because it's not like it's only been last week that it wasn't there. It's been kind of a thing that has overshadowed that. And so you do want to see that start to build, but this is the perfect weekend to kick it off to where people are like, okay, it's there. Like we don't have to panic.
Yeah, better connection with all like Travis.
Yeah,
like,
Travis too.
Need some more down the field, right? De'Ami just catching the rock. Other than that, you've been really good. Brian Thomas getting back to what he's, we're normally used to seeing. It can happen quick. That's what's great thing about football, any sport, really. That next game, you can flip it like a pancake. Like the next thing you know, you're like, you're doing great. Like you did a 180 turn. Like all of a sudden, things are clicking, things are going, and you feel like this team, in that regard, is somewhat close. To really click in the entire game and not having miscues. I mean, if I got to see one of these movements ever again, I'm going to slap the TV. It's just unbelievably illegal, whatever, shift. I mean, come on, get it together, fellas. You probably see less penalties. By the way, Texans penalized as much as the Jags, both with 17 penalties. I don't know how theirs break down, but I doubt there's 8 illegal shifts.
No, I would expect some holding because the offensive line isn't super talented, and so that would be my guess. But I haven't looked at the breakdown. All right, you want to give lunch away before or after we hear from Jameis Winston?
Let's go ahead and give away some lunch. We have free lunch to Chick-fil-A today. Give me a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 2, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A.
Give RJ the call, not Taylor the call.
Yeah.
You don't have
That's
Taylor's
my phone number. Don't call me.
But yeah, give RJ a call, 641-1010. Yeah, Jameis Winston was on a podcast with Theo Vaughn, who is I think, very famous comedian / podcaster these days. And Jameis, I think, had some really good wisdom to share with everyone on this Friday afternoon.
And go to different heights, you know what I'm saying, and be tough on yourself. But you also got to give yourself some grace. Like that's where that balance come in. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be your worst enemy and your biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's how I get.
You know what I'm saying?
I turn into my worst. Yeah. It's like I'm trying so much I end up being my worst enemy, bro.
But you being 2 different people. I feel like we talk to ourselves more than anybody else talk to us.
Yeah.
So you got to give yourself that grace, man. You got to speak life into you more than anybody else going to be speaking life into you. Because I guarantee you, somebody else, they care about themselves more than they care about you.
So there you have it.
I love Jameis.
Jameis is, I think, one of the most positive people out there. But I also think that it's really important what he said. Like, you do talk to yourself more than anyone else talks to you, and other people do care about themselves more than they care about you. So you do need to, even if you do make a mistake, you got to give yourself
Helmets and Heels. Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL. 1010XL's Hayes Carline represents you in the locker room. So you gotta up your game. Interview persons of interest so you'll have the information you need to get ready for game day. Time to put on your game face. Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics this season. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings through October from 9 to 10 at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra. Preferred PT in Fleming Island and Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Helmets and Heels. Crown Royal Friday.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the first coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
You already know it's your main man E to the T here for Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft. And with ball season here, make sure you're on the lookout for my instant reaction before, during, or after the game. All brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts. Come on, somebody.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
1010XL is your home for Florida Gators football. Protected by the law firm of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Follow every Gators game on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by TopDressing.com. Some highly anticipated matchups are on this weekend's menu coming through our airwaves. Starting tomorrow night for Miami, it's the unranked Gators at the 4th-ranked Hurricanes kicking off at 7:30. Then on Sunday, your Jacksonville Jaguars clash with division rival the Houston Texans for a 1 o'clock slot on 92.5 FM. It's 84 degrees at 3 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
The fun continues here live from Big Dogs in Orange Park. Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. RJ Saunders back at 1010XL headquarters making it all happen. And we are excited to talk once again with Jaguars defensive tackle Eric Armstead, who got his first sack last week against the Bengals of this season. Eric, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about this Jaguars defense. I think played really well against Joe Burrow, and then all of a sudden Jake Browning comes in, and I feel like the timing was different with what Jake was doing with the offense, the Bengals offense, than with what Joe Burrow was doing.
Yeah, 100%. When Jake came in, the game plan kind of shifted for them, and they started going to a lot of quick game, a lot of screens, getting the ball out of his hands fast. And he actually, came in and did a good job for them. And, we couldn't find a way down the stretch to make enough plays to win. But there were some positives in the game that we can carry over, but some things we need to clean up as well.
Eric, when you are preparing for a game on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever it may be, how much are you looking into those backup quarterbacks? Because obviously, when you're facing somebody like Joe Burrow, that's going to be a lot of the focus. How much is based on what they would do if the quarterback changes?
That's not a big part of the game plan, to be honest, especially for me and being a defensive lineman. It's probably a bigger part for the coaches, and if there, is an adjustment that need to be made. But for me, I'm more so studying, the offensive linemen, the run game, trying to figure out, how I can defeat the guys that I'm going against, and not necessarily worried about, the backup quarterback. And if something like Sunday does happen, then you have to make adjustments on the fly.
Eric, great to hear your voice again, have you on the show. When a team is doing that like Jake Browning, kind of getting the ball out quick, how do you defend that as a defense? I mean, you guys can only rush so far. I know you got to get your hands up. You got to have stickier coverage. You tried a little bit of everything, a little bit of man, a little bit of blitzing. It just seemed to never really disrupt that timing. But how do you do it? How do you figure that out?
Yeah, when teams are going to, quicker, more intermediate routes, you can change some things up in the coverage and try to throw them off. There's a few times I for sure felt like I could have did a better job of getting my hands up in those passing lanes, especially down in the red zone where the field is shorter, and there's really no deep routes. And so as a defensive lineman, I for sure could have did a better job in some of those situations. Kind of breaking off from my pass rush and trying to get my hands up, knowing the ball was going to be out quick.
Eric, there's a football cliche when it comes to rivalries. You throw the record books out the window. And I feel like with the Texans, there is a rivalry here. They do come in 0-2. I don't think that would be a big talking point for y'all in your locker room because you can only worry about what you have to worry about. But you can pretty much put this team, into the cellar of the AFC South at 0-3.
Yeah, definitely division game, super important. Everywhere that we're trying to get as a team, it starts in your division. It starts in dominating your division, and we're playing against a team that has won our division. I believe the last 2 years. So they have been dominating our division, and this will be a good test and a good battle for us to change that narrative and get a win versus a great team in a hard-fought game. And we're up for it and we're going to be excited.
Eric, I saw some Bengals fans coming at you a little bit for taking out their quarterback, is how they were wording it, even though it was a different foot than what you got him down with. But the Jaguars facing a team this weekend who did take out their quarterback last year, the last time they played. How difficult is it to kind of balance that of having the mentality of this is a physical sport and you have to hit and that type of thing is going to happen, unfortunately, but also not being the person who's intentionally trying to hurt somebody?
I think you hit the nail on the head with that. We play a physical sport, and at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we want to play this sport fast and violent and the way it needs to be played. But at the end of the day, we want to go home healthy and safe to our families. And so, I love playing the game that way. Playing with an edge, I think, is very important. Playing physical and playing violent and is very important as well too. This is football. This is a violent game. But at the end of the day, we all want to go home safe and healthy. And the reality is that not going to be the case often. Football has a 100% injury guarantee that comes with it, and it's a part of our game. And but I do think it's important to play with that edge, and be able to play smart as well too. And so, it's going to be a hard-fought game, an ice bag type of game, especially against a physical team and a division opponent. And we pride ourselves on being a physical team as well. So it's going to be an amped-up game, but these are the games that you want to be a part of. These are the games that you play in the NFL for. To play in big time games like this with a lot on the line and in physical games, and so we're all ready for it, and we're going to be excited to go out there and get it started.
Texans don't have Joe Mixon, Eric, but they do have Nick Chubb. I think you'd stop the run and try to make C.J. Stroud one-dimensional, get after that line. Look, every line is going to be filled with good players, but they're not playing well as a unit. Looks like you guys could take advantage of that.
Yes, that's definitely a recipe to win this game. It always starts in the run game. Anytime you can make a team one-dimensional and stop that run and put them in third and long and advantageous positions as an offense and behind the chains, that's exactly where you want to be. And that's what this game is going to boil down to, is for us defensively stopping that run, making them one-dimensional, and then going after CJ as much as we can and making him uncomfortable in that backfield.
Eric, how excited are y'all to wear the Prowler throwbacks?
Yeah, I love those. I think they're one of the best uniforms in the league, if not the best. I'm sure different fan bases will have different opinions on that, but I love our throwbacks. It's a perfect uniform. I'm a 90s baby, and so it's always nostalgic to wear or bring up the past. And so I love those uniforms, and we're going to be wearing them a few times this year. And I'm excited to bring them out on Sunday.
I was saying earlier on the show, Eric, that, the drama sometimes around a football team can be created by media, by fans, and the drama doesn't always get into the locker room. How do you guys keep it out of the locker room, though? Obviously, a lot of talk this week. We don't got to rehash with Brian Thomas and Trevor and whatnot, but how do you keep all that noise out of the locker room?
Well, it's definitely more difficult being in 2025 and everyone having a phone and social media, and everyone in the world and their mom having an opinion about what's going on.
Right.
So that makes it a little more difficult. But at the same time, I think it's all about communication. And, sometimes communication is can look a little rough on the eyes at times. But at the end of the day, we care about one another. We care about what's going on in the game. We care about, this game of football that we put so much into, and all of our lives are, correlated and affect one another in terms of wins and losses, and team success affects all of our lives individually. And so with that, things get emotional at times, things get heated, but at the end of the day, we all care about one another. We all want what's best for one another. And I go back to communication. When you express those things, how you feel about one another, and you have real sweat equity with one another, that allows you to, in adverse situations, overcome them and stick together. And hopefully the goal is always that when things aren't going well, you realize that you need each other even more, and that draws you closer to one another to get over the hump and get changed, whatever you guys need to get changed. So I'm excited to be a part of a team that does that.
All right, Eric. Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck. And and look, we had asked you before the season started who was going to lead the team in sacks, and I feel like everybody right now has one. Not everybody, but those of you with sacks have one, so you're pretty much tied. All right, go get more takeaways, and we so appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
That's a great message, man, about the communication. That goes for every part of life, man. You got to communicate. You got to try to teach my girls that they want to text, they want to write letters, and I'm like, just talk. Just express your opinion. Yeah. It's okay to express, as long as you do it respectfully, and in your way you have to. You got to stand firm sometimes.
Yeah.
But just express yourself, man. Communication, especially in a locker room, is key to a healthy locker room.
Oh yeah.
Marriage, relationship, right? So anyway, great message by Eric Armstead, I thought.
Yeah, and I think we've talked a lot, too, just about the world we live in with social media and how it's like the way he said that was just funny, too, because it is like everybody and their mom has an opinion. It's very true, and it's easy to find, and it's easy to see, and people are tagging you on social media, so you do see it. The amount of people I have to mute on mine, and I'm not even a professional.
No, I know.
Player.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we do appreciate his time, and like we said, hopefully that defensive line gets after C.J. Stroud on Sunday. We've got our picks on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels live here from Big Dogs Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. The best wings, that's what I keep hearing. The absolute best wings.
Fantastic.
Tons of TVs, arcade games, the jukebox, the greatest staff as well. It is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels. Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. He's our Big Mac.
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. No wonder Closets by Design has over 1,700 five-star Google reviews, including mine. Our designer, Doug, had such great ideas for maximizing our small closets, and the installer, Alan, was so friendly and efficient. He installed all 3 of our closets in just a few hours Friday last week. Goodbye clutter, hello seamless organization. They can do the same for you as they create custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget, from closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation, but only until the end of the month. That is September 30th. 18-month financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Crown Royal Friday on Helmets and Heels.
Craving tacos? Take advantage of the amazing lunch specials at One Night Taco Stand. Get bold flavors and bang for your buck with the Taco Trio. Choose any 3 tacos for just $10.99. If you're looking for a Taco Tuesday special every day, then look no further than One Night Taco Stand. 3 Jacksonville locations: Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Gator fans, Dylan Denmark here. Join me Saturday night at 7:30 for the Gators Hurricanes game at Port Tap Room downtown. You can win a pair of tickets to the Florida-Texas game Saturday night at Port Tap Room.
Let's go, Gators!
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $3,600 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Attention ladies, the Ladies Florida State Championship is returning to Best Bet Jacksonville from September 18th to the 21st. Highlights include a World Poker Tour Mega Satellite, a free Q&A session with the Poker Hall of Famer and First Lady of Poker, Linda Johnson, and Women's Poker Hall of Famer Jan Fisher. It includes the $300 No Limit Hold'em Ladies Championship Tournament and the $200 Kings and Queens No Limit Hold'em event. Don't miss this action-packed weekend. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
All right, it is time for our picks on this Friday afternoon, live here from Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant, 1330 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. Like we said, happy hour from 4 to 7, and you get 2-for-1 draft beer, pitchers included, from 4 until 7. Of course, we are here 2 to 4, and then let the happy hour begin. It is time now for, like I said, our picks for this week. A reminder, the total points, Taylor Dahl has 6, Tom McManus has 8, and I have 12. And this week we have what I think are some difficult games.
Yeah.
There weren't some, I feel like, some of the best college games necessarily this week, and there are some good ones, but not necessarily like those blockbuster ones that we had a weekend ago.
A lot of them are just huge spreads where it's like it's scary to touch those.
A lot of big odds for sure. Which that may be tipping me off as to which way y'all went with the wild card. We shall see. It is tipping off which way I went with the wild card, and that is in the NFL. All right, we'll kick things off with Auburn at Oklahoma. Taylor Dahl, you may kick us off. And Oklahoma, by the way, at home favored by 7 there in Norman.
Yeah, I'm going Oklahoma. I feel like earlier when we picked them the last time, I didn't have faith in them, so I'm going to reverse
when
that.
It was Oklahoma, Michigan?
Yeah. And so I'm going to reverse that, and I'm going Oklahoma for this one.
Yeah, Tom, I'm taking Oklahoma as well. That's mainly because Jackson Arnold, of course, used to be the Oklahoma quarterback. Now with Auburn, returns to Oklahoma, and Brent Venables, the head coach of Oklahoma, is a really good defensive mind, and also he knows what Jackson Arnold is good at, and he knows what he's not necessarily good at. So I think Oklahoma gets the victory by more than a touchdown at home. What say you, sir?
I'm going to go the opposite route.
All right.
I am going to go
Auburn Tigers.
Auburn Tigers. I got
Or
a little
Damn Eagle?
connection. Little connection. My wife's nephew, my nephew, swam competitively at Auburn.
Okay.
Swam the mile, which is a beast of a race.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
He was
that
swimmer
takes
for
forever.
Auburn. But listen, I think look, Auburn's 22nd in the country. I do think there's something to Oklahoma goes to plays Temple and kills them.
Right.
And then we'll go against a much tougher opponent the next weeks. How do they respond to that? I think Oklahoma still wins the game, but I'm going to take Auburn with the points.
I can certainly understand that. Tom, right back at you. Miami and the Hurricanes play host to Florida. I have it at Miami at home, 9.5-point favorites over the Florida Gators.
This is probably the quickest one. I'm going the Hurricanes. I think they're going to try to prove a point and really smash them. But you never know in college. You just never know what happens in college ball. But
And the line is different places.
Yeah,
I've seen
right.
7.5. I've seen 9. I've seen 9.5.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna go the Hurricanes, and I'm not a huge fan of the U. I mean, I always liked them. When they played the Catholics, I like playing against them. When we were both in the Big East. That was fun, but I think they're going to take care of the Gators this weekend.
Taylor?
Yeah, screw the U, but I'm going Miami. But I'm going Miami. I just feel, and I honestly went back and forth because I could see this being a game where, like, for 3 quarters, it's super close within, like, a field goal, and then Miami pulls away a little bit. So is that 7? Is it 9? Is it 10? I don't know, but it's hard for me not to go the Canes right now.
Yeah, my heart obviously tells me to pick one way. My head tells me to pick the other. But I don't want to root for Miami in the points. So even though I do think Miami crushes Florida, my rooting interest, I at least want to root for something in that game.
Cool.
Look, I just think things are spiraling out of control. And the defense, though, is playing phenomenally well, have only allowed 2 touchdowns.
You're right.
So
You're right.
they obviously, Florida is familiar with Carson Beck, who, of course, used to play at Georgia. Maybe if Billy Napier steps back and lets Russ Callaway or someone else call the plays, which is not happening, but I can be positive or optimistic, right? So I'll take Florida.
Great
in the,
point
in
on the
points.
defense. So, I mean, look, holding
they've
LSU
been lights
20.
out.
Like, come on, that's legit.
If DJ Lagway had played even serviceably last week, Florida probably beats LSU at night in Baton Rouge, the spread, or it ended up being a 10-point difference, but it was certainly much closer than that. But five interceptions we've talked about this week, and of course one of those returned for a touchdown. All right, we'll switch things over to the National Football League. The Lions go to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens at home, 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the flock, and I've got the Ravens beating the Lions. Even though the Lions looked really good last week, I just think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens at home is a tough task. Taylor?
Yeah, I feel like the Lions might have put all of their effort into that game last week. I also just think the Ravens are the Ravens, and I think especially when you're at their home, it's really difficult. They didn't lose a game at home last year, and so I do think that it's one of their strengths. So I've got the Ravens.
Tom?
I'm going the other route. I think the Bears suck, and I think the Lions kick the crap out of them for a reason. So I'm not sitting there like going, the Lions are coming.
Aren't that good, then.
That's my whole point. I'm trying to get to that point.
Well, you're picking them, though.
No, I'm not. I'm picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Lions. Wait. Time out. No, I'm picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens. I'm sorry. I do have a check mark next to the Ravens. That's why I'm picking the Ravens. I don't think the Lions are that good.
Yeah. There we have it.
See, that comes together somehow.
It all comes together.
It's a big brain, man. There's a lot floating around in here. I don't know.
Understandable. It's a Friday afternoon.
You did have to take all our orders by memory earlier.
I did.
Very well done, by the way. Tom played our radar. All right, we'll leave the Jags game for last since I forgot to do that last week and the Jags lost. So we're going to go back to week 1, which was the winning ways. So the wild card, Tom, who is your wild card this week? I love these.
Yeah, I do too. And I found one that I like, actually.
Okay, good.
In the college football
That's what you're
ranks.
supposed to do.
Illinois at Indiana.
Okay.
Screw Indiana. They are weak. They got nothing. I'm taking Illinois and the points. Indiana's favored by 6.5 at home against Illinois.
Indiana is favored by 6.5, so you are taking...
I'm taking Illinois.
Illinois to cover.
Yeah.
Or not, yeah.
Yeah, want to win and cover.
Yeah, to win. Yeah, gotcha. All right, Taylor?
Yeah, so that's funny. That's mine, but I have the opposite. I'm taking Indiana. Indiana, I just feel like their biggest strength defensively is their pass, and Illinois can't run the ball. So they're going to have to figure out a way to run the ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Indiana's offense is very high-powered. Obviously, we know what Kurt Signetti can do. I'm a little worried because I picked Illinois that first week, and it came back to bite me. But, I'm taking Indiana on this one. 6.5.
I love this. Now a game that I probably didn't care that much about other than it is 2 ranked teams, and we only have a few of those. One of those being that Auburn-Oklahoma game that we picked earlier. But now I'm going to be locked in tomorrow night at 7:30. Opposite Florida-Miami, of course, will be on the main TV, and then I'll have Illinois-Indiana just to keep track of what's going on. And then I went in the NFL. The Colts are 3.5-point favorites at the Titans. I think the Titans are a terrible football team, and the Colts have found something in Daniel Jones. I don't think the Colts are necessarily going to make the playoffs. I'm not predicting that. But I think they can win on the road in Nashville by more than 3.5. So I've got the Colts there, and then brings us to the final game of the week before we say hello to Seth Payne. Taylor, Texans at the Jaguars. Jaguars are 1.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I'm going Jags with this. I think that right now through the first few weeks, competition level does factor into this, and that's some of it. So honestly, this weekend I think does give us a better insight of what these two teams actually are, because the Texans have lost twice, but against better teams. The Jags have, are 1-1, but against lesser opponents. And so it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. But I think the Jags can cover 1.5 at home.
All right, Tom, I know you have it 27-14.
I do. I think we're going to. They're
Jags.
averaging 14 points a game. I hold them to that. Houston is, and I think our defense can hold them to that. And I think our offense is going to surprise some people on Sunday. I think we're going to find our groove. I think we're just a tiny bit off last week, and if we get that together, we can. And even the week before, the deep pass to Travis, just a little underthrown, a little bit more oomph, and you got maybe 6 points there. So I think we're close, and we should see some good scoring. I got them 27-14.
Yeah, I would love for it to be a little bit more of a disparity like that, just in the sense of this team has lost so many one-score games. So
not being stressed in the final 3 minutes would be nice.
Like against the Panthers, more than a one-score game, you win that game. Last week against the Bengals, it was a one-score game, they lose that game. So I'll take the Jags 24-17 over the Texans here in Jacksonville in those Prowler uniforms. One guy who knows about the Prowler uniforms, Seth Payne, he's played for both the Jaguars and the Texans, joins us next. You are listening to Helmets and Heels live from Big Dog's Family Sports Restaurant in Orange Park on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels. From the Greenlaw Group Studios, 1010XL brings you the orange and blue.
Touchdown Gators!
Can the Gators tame the Hurricanes and turn the tables in Coral Gables?
Got a hole, and there he goes.
Kickoff at 7:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Chick-fil-A has something brand new on the menu, and it's only here for a limited time. Introducing the Pretzel Cheddar Club. This sandwich comes on a warm, buttery pretzel bun, a slice of cheddar cheese, topped with 3 strips of applewood, smoked bacon, fresh lettuce, and tomato. And the kicker, a creamy Dijon mustard sauce on the side that takes the sandwich to the next level. Try it grilled, spicy, or with the original Chick-fil-A chicken. Don't wait. It's only here for a limited time. So stop by Jacksonville Chick-fil-A locations and try the Pretzel Cheddar Club today.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
It's a Crown Royal Friday on Helmets and Heels.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morecambe's reviews speak for themselves, and I challenge any firm to compare results. We offer the resources of a large law firm and the customer service of a boutique practice. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY and take the fear out of the fight. Offices, Jacksonville.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Michael Tousell in Jacksonville at 904-425-4100.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
The Golf Club of Southampton has big plans for 2026, renewing the greens plus plenty more. But right now is the time to take advantage of member opportunities before the big renovation. Now until the end of September, you can join and save 50% off their initiation fee plus $500 back in a gift card with a 12-month commitment. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Playability for every skill level and a huge practice area to hone your game. Lock in now and enjoy membership privileges at the Golf Club of Southampton.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big...
Whoa! See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
All right, we're here at Big Dog Sports Restaurant out on Blanding Boulevard in the OP, deep in the OP, that is. And we got a special guest, my old teammate, a friend of mine, former Jag, former Houston Texan, who covers all types of things out in the media in Houston. Seth Payne joins us now on Helmets and Heels with Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, myself, Tom McManus. Seth Rowe, how are you, my man? Great to hear from you.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I'm happy to be out in Orange Park again.
There you go. Brings back memories there, Seth, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, back from the days. Your co-host might not know this if you told them or not. Tom and I lived a few blocks away from each other on Jacksonville Beach when we were young and stupid, and really having the time of our lives.
You know it. I was in Lynch's last night, Seth.
I was like, Tommy's still having the time of his life at Jack's Beach.
That is for sure. That is for sure. All right, 0-2 Texans coming to town. We haven't beaten you guys in 7 times in Jacksonville. How does Houston win this game, Seth, do you think?
I think the biggest thing, honestly, that I'm worried about right now in terms of, if you're a Texans fan looking at this matchup with the Jaguars, is that the Jaguars are the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. The Texans last week versus the Bucs were, I don't know statistically what they were, but they were one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. They were as good as the Texans defense has been and has the potential to be. They were playing out of position. They were over-pursuing. They were missing tackles all over the place. The pass rush is still good, but their linebackers and their front 7 in total really didn't do a good job stopping the run. So when it comes to limiting what the Jaguars have been able to do so far, which is get into those manageable 3rd and short situations, the Texans did not do well versus Baker Mayfield and the Bucs.
Seth, looking on the other side, when it comes to the run game for the Texans, obviously losing Joe Mixon was a hit. You have Nick Chubb making that signing in the offseason. How has that looked so far? What were the expectations coming in, and how has it looked so far when it comes to Nick Chubb in that run game?
Well, with Nick Chubb, he's out for at least the first 4 weeks. Joe Mixon's out for at least the first 4 weeks of the season. With Nick Chubb, during training camp, you could tell he doesn't have the same explosiveness. He doesn't have the same breakaway speed. But he still has vision, and he's still very strong. So when the blocking is good in front of him, he's done some good things. The problem is that blocking part. The blocking part has just not been there for him. And, we saw glimpses of it in training camp. But by and large, the offensive line was a huge question mark coming into this season. And they've kind of played the way they look on paper. Sometimes with offensive lines, you hope for a situation where you get a greater than the sum of its part, a synergy, because guys are well coached and they're playing in unison. But they preached physicality all all preseason long, and they showed signs of it, but they have not been physical enough, and guys are getting beat individually. So the run game has not taken off, and then in the passing game, CJ, just everything looks just a little bit off kilter. They're running this offense that's got a lot of the New England Tom Brady elements to it, to where there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of control behind the line of scrimmage for the quarterback, and he just hasn't looked like he's on the same page as his wide receivers. Nico Collins has had 3 catches in each of the first 2 games, and that's as you guys know, that's a rarity. And if Nico Collins is playing and finishing the game, it's very rare that he only gets 3 catches, but that's what it's been the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the quarterback not being on the same page as the receivers. That sounds interesting. Here in Jacksonville, and we may have talked a ton about that this week. Look, Seth, I want to talk about the schedule so far. The Texans have played the Rams and the Buccaneers. Liam Coen and his offensive style certainly comes from the Rams, and then he spent time, of course, with the Bucs as the OC last year. Do you think that benefits the Texans' defense because they now are familiar with that, or do you think Liam Coen can look at those first 2 games and see what worked against the Texans, and it's more to the advantage of Liam?
No, it's a great question. I think there were kind of 2 different challenges, I think, with those 2 teams. So Liam Coen he's kind of gotten a couple different game plans and a couple different defensive game plans to look at. In the first game, you go into it and Matt Stafford has barely practiced. Nobody knows what's going on with his back. He's got a herniated disc, and you could tell that the Texans really loaded up to stop the run. The stat that was kind of alarming was the Texans defense loaded the box more than any team ever had in a Sean McVay game with the Rams. Like, ever since Sean McVay had been in L.A., that's the most highest percentage of loaded boxes he'd ever seen. So the Texans really sold out, and they got victimized by the play-action pass. Stafford really took it to him with play-action. So last week, you see the Texans kind of back off a little bit, and you could tell the linebackers were trying real hard to play clean football and not get duped, and then they got run all over. So it's really the entire front 7. I think Cohen's probably got a good shot at, all right, this is where we can get them if they commit to stopping the run. We can get them with a play action. But if they sit back and play on their heels, one thing that the Bucs did really well was just enough misdirection to really take the defensive ends, like Will Anderson. Will Anderson's usually really good against the run. They did some kind of funky little things to keep him off balance in the run game, the linebackers as well. So, yeah, it's a really good point. And honestly, I'm ashamed of myself that I hadn't made it already this week, but I will steal it for a pregame show.
Go for it.
Seth Payne joining us here on Helmets and Heels, of course, former Jag, a former Texan. And you can also find him in the mornings on AM 610 in Houston. Seth, 17 penalties for both teams. I know what our penalties are made up of. If I never see an illegal shift penalty, I'll be good. We have a ton of those. But okay, so what? Yeah, break them down. Like, what are these penalties on? Are they on offense, defense, combination? What are we talking?
Okay, 2 things, and this is where some of the discipline breaks down. And it's weird because D'Amico Ryans is a guy that commands respect. His guys play really aggressively, but you expect them to be more disciplined than they've been the last couple of weeks. On offense, especially in week 1, not as much in week 2, but it looked a lot like an offense that's got a lot of moving parts, more than CJ has been used to. Out there for the first time on the road with crowd noise, and they had a couple of illegal shifts. They had a delay of game. I think they may have had one illegal formation. Like, all of this classic hallmark of an offense is just trying to get it together. They looked a lot cleaner in week 2. With the defense, like you guys know, as we remember from last year with the minor incident with Aziz Al-Shire, this is a very aggressive. This is a very aggressive.
Just a forearm shoot.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive. Like they come up and hit, and at times, I call it the psychometer. Like, Tom was a psychotic football player. Yes. That's why it served him very well. But as you know, Tom, you got to dial it back a little bit. You can't be at a 10 on the psychometer all the time. And the Texans have been just a little too aggressive on defense, and it's been, they got an unnecessary roughness in the first game, but those aren't as concerning. And it was actually kind of a bogus one now that I'm thinking about it. But it's some of the offside. Like there was a encroachment penalty at the end of the third quarter where it was obvious that Matt Stafford was just trying to draw them offsides on a free play, on a freeze play. Those kinds of things, and it's one more illustration of where the Texans have just been a little overly aggressive. They haven't tackled well. The defense, I know they haven't allowed a lot of points, but they've allowed a lot of drives. And, like last week, they played 80 snaps on defense. They're not quite fine-tuned the way they were last year most of the time.
Seth, if you were to see our text group we have, the psychometer has spiked a few times there when we've been talking about the physical side of the football, which I get. But speaking of that, because when you're talking about the Texans with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, obviously, but Derek Barnett has had a really good season so far between these two games. What is that rotation looking like right now between the three of those guys?
Oh, that's, the defensive ends, the edge rushers are doing everything that you would expect them to. They've gotten a lot of pressure on the quarterback. The first week, Matt Stafford was getting rid of the ball really quickly, so the pass rush looked better than maybe some of the stats looked like. But Matt Stafford was just doing everything, again, to kind of take advantage of the Texans' aggressiveness. But really, the pass rush between Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson especially, those guys are both top 10 in pressure rate in the NFL. And that's the strength of this team right now. It really is, can you make Trevor Lawrence, force him into some bad decisions, force him into turnovers. The one thing that I think really you haven't seen out of the Texans defense in terms of production is they forced a lot of turnovers last year. They're second in the league in interceptions, top 5 in takeaways, and a lot of that comes from having a good pass rush, getting strip sacks, forcing interceptions, all of those things. And they've only caused 1 turnover so far this season. So you look at the last couple games where the offense has not nearly been close to a competent offense, but they've been in it. And if the Texans force 1 more turnover in either of those games, maybe the outcome's a little bit different. But you definitely have to be on guard and on watch for that. They're still a very ball-hungry defense.
I'm guessing you've talked a lot this week about Travis Hunter. Have you talked about Bashal Tuten and Quint Allen, the other 2 rookies that are starting on offense?
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing that you notice about that Jaguars offense right now. I know everybody wants to talk about Travis Hunter, and you're kind of waiting to see when he emerges, but their ability to, spread the ball out as Travis Hunter, as Trevor was doing last week, but also to actually run the ball. This is as much of a well-rounded threat out of the Jaguars that I think the Texans have seen in a while. And just CJ's got a new offense with a whole lot of new parts, and it's not going all that well for him. I think the Jaguars, you could look at that and say, well, man, Liam Cohen's not a first-time offensive coordinator. He was last year. He did a really good job at it. The Texans have a first-time offensive coordinator, and they've got young guys in new parts. They've got a couple of draft picks at wide receivers, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, but the Texans haven't really gotten them involved as much, and the fan base is getting kind of agitated about it because every time, Woody Marks, the running back, they haven't gotten as much of the production out of their young guys the way the Jaguars have.
All right, Seth, as we wrap up with you here, my friend, what do you got for a score? What's your prediction this Sunday? Do the Texans get off the schneid and get their first victory of the year?
This is the thing, and I know I'm probably coming out sounding very pessimistic about. I'm probably coming out sounding very pessimistic about the Jaguars, and I'm frustrated. I'm optimistic that it's going to turn around at some point. I don't know what it is, but Trevor Lawrence he's played his worst games against the Houston Texans, and I have to ask you guys, what's the deal with Brian Thomas Jr.? What is going on here?
He had a wrist injury that nobody knew about.
That's been our conversation all week, Seth.
We don't know, but he seems to be okay, and he's definitely going to play on Sunday.
Is he okay in his brain? Is he terrified of contact? Okay.
No, I think he's fine on contact. He just wants his quarterback to stop throwing him into coverage all the time. That's all.
Okay. I'm going Texans 23-20.
Same score, I think, as last year in Jacksonville.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Very good, my man.
I'm going to pretend that I remembered that.
Write it down, Seth. Write it down. All right, my man. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on a Friday.
Yeah,
Love
it was,
to the family.
23-20 December 1st.
Okay.
The other game was 24-20, the one in Houston.
Well, hopefully we get on the top this time. Sethro, have a great weekend, man. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Tommy.
You're the man.
Thanks, Seth.
Awesome.
We appreciate it. Yes, you can find him at Seth C. Payne on X, co-host of Payne and Pendergrast on Sports Radio 610. And we've got one segment to go. We'll cool it down. Also bring you today's Terminix Pest of the Day. And just a reminder, Baloo comes up on 1010 a.m., 4 to 6 p.m. Fringe's show on 92.5 FM from 4 to 6 p.m. It's 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and heels.
Backed by Green Law Group.
For the insured.
Fighting for you.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Helmets and Heels Crown Royal Friday.
Frank Frangie here. It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Chevrolets at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hey, Jags fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. It's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with the generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/royal rig for more information. Remember, please drink responsibly.
Pre-Game Friday, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Wick, a candle bar, is celebrating 6 years this Friday through Sunday. Enjoy 15% off your total purchase at both San Marco and Jax Beach. Come celebrate 6 years at Wick, a candle bar.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding, so easy to use. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I've got a simple question. How much does a 1-carat diamond cost?
Frank, that's an impossible question to answer because a carat is only a measure of weight for gemstones. It'd be no different than me saying, I have a beautiful wife. She weighs 125 pounds, which you'd find is a ridiculous description. Diamonds are graded for 4 factors, and carat weight is only one of those factors. The others are cut, color, and clarity, and each of these factors is graded specifically and set by a certified gemologist in an accredited gem laboratory. So when you ask about a diamond's weight, we're going to tell you more than just the price. At Underwoods, we want a customer to understand how all 4 factors of diamond quality relate back to the rarity and value of the diamond. Needless to say, we all understand the value of a dollar. At Underwoods, we want our customers to know what their dollar buys in diamond value. So if you're shopping for the best, stop by Underwoods.
That's at Underwoods in San Marco, in Avondale, or at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, lifetime enclosures, and flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, let's cool down a little bit with some more thoughts on the game on Sunday, because a few things stuck out to me from Seth. Number one, it feels like, media-wise at least, they feel like they are in a similar boat of, he started off the conversation of the wide receivers and the quarterback are not really on the same page, it feels like. And also the conversation around this is a new offense and how, like they're asking him to do a lot of things and he's learning some of that stuff. And so I think there's a lot of similarities when you look at these two teams right now. So I think that this game is, we've talked about all the reasons it's big and all the reasons it matters. That's a whole other level, because both of these teams right now, and the Texans maybe even more so because they haven't won a game this season, are really trying to get out, dig themselves out of something that they don't want to get too deep into. And I feel like the Jags will be talking about the same thing. I mean, if you're 1-2, that's not, let's say the Colts beat the Titans and they're 3-0. It's starting to look farther away, and you don't want to get to that point. But it is interesting how quickly things can change, because a year ago at this point, the whole conversation was about how great C.J. Stroud was and how good the Texans, and it was their division and nobody else had a chance, and that was the conversation all year. And now it's kind of flipped back to this, okay, what is C.J.? Does C.J. have to have all of these pieces perfectly for him to have these connections? And I saw a stat earlier. In the last 17 games, he has 18 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That's not good numbers that you want in a 17-game span. And so I do think it'll be interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out. But I do think that both teams find out some answers this weekend about what their team really looks like.
Yeah, who's grittier? You know, I mean, they need a win.
Who's tougher?
Yeah, they need a win. You know what I mean? They're 0-2, 0-3. You know that. That's not ending well. It typically doesn't end well. We're going to find out how gritty they are. Listen, in their defense, they got to feel pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely lost to Tampa. They gave the Rams a good run for their money overall. You know, they probably sit there going, man, we shouldn't be 0-2. Like we're saying we shouldn't be 1-1.
Yeah.
We should be 2-0, right? And they probably feel like should got one out of those, out of the two that they lost, you know? So it'll be, look, it's going to be, whether you're a Jag fan or a Texan fan or just a football fan, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
I think so, too. Let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Let's do it.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes Carline joins us now. Hayes, from Orange Park to Jacksonville, and hopefully the Jags fans on Sunday give a big boo when Azeez Al-Shaair trots out on that field.
Yeah, without a doubt. It should be a fantastic game. So if you are looking for something to do, if you're a casual fan, it's a good day to go watch the Jaguars play, because this is, for a Week 3 game, I mean, it is critically important, and you have to be pleased with what the Jaguars have shown. They're 1-1. I get that. But they're leading the NFL in rushing. They're leading the NFL in takeaways. I mean, they are doing some really good things. And so, hopefully it'll be a great crowd and a tough environment for the Texans to play in. So we'll certainly get to all that coming up on the Frangie Show. Our final thoughts is as we get closer to kickoff. I had a chance to talk with Josh Hines-Allen and Parker Washington in the locker room today. So we'll play those interviews for you. Pete Prisco will join us to talk Jags and NFL. So should be a great Frangie Show coming up.
Awesome. Well, let's hope it's a big day, certainly from Josh Hines-Allen getting after CJ, and also another big day from Parker. Thanks, Hayes. All right, there,
All right.
there he goes. All right, time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. Look, the Pest of the Day, Jadeveon Clowney was arrested days before he signed with the Cowboys. And I'm not laughing that, like, arrests are funny, but more, he was arrested for trying to park in a closed parking lot.
Oh, my God.
Like, it doesn't sound like maybe you have your mental faculties where they're supposed to be, but yeah, Jadeveon Clowney. I could have, of course, made it Azeez Al-Shaair once again, but he's been the Pest of the Day so many times. We'll let that slide, and hopefully he does not get into any altercations or get suspended out of this game. You can find Terminix online at Terminix.com. That's Terminix.com. They take care of the pest control at Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, all of your favorite event venues around town. Certainly, if you'll be at Everbank Stadium on Sunday, be loud and proud with the Prowler throwbacks. They take care of the pest control at our house as well. All right, y'all, this weekend got kicked off today at Big Dogs, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh, it was great. What a great place.
I know. I love
Wings
this place.
are awesome. The beers are cold. And good fine people out here at Orange Park.
And certainly, if you're not heading to the game, you can watch it here at Big Dogs or watch all the college football action on Saturday, tomorrow. So many great things here. Like we said, the food, coldest beer in town, absolutely fantastic, and we appreciate them having us out. And the Jags need to get a win on Sunday. That's our collective thought.
Let's do it, boys. Get it done.
Do it in the Prowlers. All right, for Tom McManus, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. And you keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be a-changing. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.